Welcome back to another fun baking vlog. I'm so excited to be finally getting to the long-awaited bucket list bake that I've had on my list for probably over a year now. Today is the day we're finally going to tackle sourdough discard granola. I'm so excited. As per usual, I will leave all of the recipes and things I found in the description box below, and that way you guys can go and make it yourself and you can let me know how it went. We're just gonna be making 3 simple and easy breakfast ideas that you can make with sourdough, 2 of which are discard, and then one will just be if you have a loaf laying around. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I just make them for fun, so I have a loaf lying around to utilize that leftover bread that you have. I found this recipe to be super simple and easy. So we're gonna make, like I said, sourdough discard granola, and then we are also going to be making sourdough discard pancakes. These are really good to make. And then the final thing is just cutting up your sourdough loaf and then making French toast. It has been one of my favorite things to eat, and I just love how simple it is and quick for Saturday morning, you know, slow Saturday, Sunday morning, you come back from church, things like that. But I just love making it, and I don't know, like it's my new favorite meal. I feel like I go through kind of waves where I'm like obsessed with something for a really long time and then I can't ever look at it again. And then sometimes I'll circle back to that obsession, and I think that's where we're at currently, because when I first started making, if you remember, I think I might have posted them somewhere. I can't remember if I made a video on it or not, but I was regularly making French toast and then I couldn't ever look at it or stomach it again. But now we've circled back a year later, and I feel like maybe it's just the thought of warmer weather and being like cozy. I don't know what has spurred this new obsession, but we are definitely back into it. So without further ado, let's start baking. Let's get into our first ever bucket list bake. I'm so excited to try this. I am nervous, to say the least, but I am very excited to just like get over myself and just follow the recipe and then let the recipe do the work. But what we're always gonna do on this channel is do scary things. So today we're doing a scary thing. It's not scary to most, it's scary to me. I don't know why, I just have an irrational fear against it. So we're actually gonna start with the discard granola first, just so I can, you know, keep the ball rolling, feel a little bit better about accomplishing that versus leaving it at the end, because a lot of times I will do that in life. I will procrastinate till the very end, and I'm aware, so we're working on that this year. We're getting better, but enough rambling. Let's get right into baking. Okay, we are hopping right back into it by preheating the oven to 350 degrees, and then we're also gonna put butter in a skillet. Also, how cute is Bonnie? I don't know if you all have ever like physically seen her before, but she was too cute, and I actually needed that clip too much to get rid of it. So that is Bonnie. She is 3 years old. She's adorable. We're in love with her just as much as we were the first day that we got her. Yeah, so getting into the ingredients, these are all the things that are called for the pancakes. I'm going to be doing the pancakes first, just to kind of start off on a high note and then move into our granola, because that seems the scariest. Not quite sure why, but it does. As you know, or if you don't know, my favorite thing is a good old sourdough pull. So I am always going to delight you and myself with a good sourdough pull. So that clip was a little bit longer than normal, but that is because I just love how beautiful sourdough looks coming out of its container. I don't know what it is. It's just like that steady stream of prettiness. Like, I don't know what else to describe it, but I just love it so much. So we're just going to get right into the nitty gritty of it. This recipe is quite simple. It comes together quite quickly. I think in total, it took me about 25 minutes to get everything settled, but that is also with filming. So, you know, if you're not carrying a camera around the entire time, you should be good and maybe cut 5 to 10 minutes off that total time. I think from what I remember, the recipe itself actually says it's going to take 15 minutes total. So somewhere within that range, you can kind of guesstimate what that would look like for you. But like I said, it all comes together quite quickly. It is very much like a one pot recipe, which are my favorite type of recipes. I will say in doing this, I learned the importance of staying consistent. And if you know me and you've seen or heard me before, then you know I'm quite superstitious about the most obscure things. Like, I can't make a sourdough loaf in a different bowl than I ever have, because it just seems like everything's gonna go terribly, terribly wrong. And that always seemed like a super irrational fear. But after doing these pancakes, I'm starting to think maybe I was on the right track, because as you can see, it just doesn't go as well as I hoped. When I originally made this recipe, I do believe I used a different pan, and since then, we've actually gotten rid of that pan because it has seen better days, and I think it started like burning the actual stovetop itself. I can't quite remember why we got rid of it, but I know that we did. And so I was like, you know what? I think in the original recipe video, the creator makes it with cast iron, so I'm going to make it in a cast iron too. And as you saw, it just was not doing what it should have been doing. There was bits of the pan itself, like getting inside the pancake. It was not seasoned properly, I think, or I don't really know. I'm not a cast iron girly. That is my husband's, and he takes super good care of it, but I think it just been sitting so long and I didn't know how to like really start it or activate it, that I just kind of said, you know what, we'll figure it out as we go. And we did figure it out, and we figured out that we cannot any longer use that pan, so we will be scrapping that from future ones. But I will say the texture was really, really nice. It was nice and fluffy. It was airy. It wasn't sour, no matter how long that discard had been sitting in the fridge. It never tastes sour, which is really nice, because sometimes you do have discard recipes that have a little bit of a sour taste to them, which is expected because it is fermented a little bit longer than you would normally have your starter be. So it makes total sense. It was just one of those things that I always try to look for whenever I'm doing discard recipes, and I found that sometimes it does have that sour taste. But all that is to say, it had a great taste, and besides using the wrong pan, I think it would be a really good, easy bulk breakfast you could make. You could stack 15 pancakes in a row and put it, 12 of them in the freezer and have them for the rest of the month. Or, I used to do this thing where I had pancake Sundays, and it was just something I look forward to every week. So I knew, in that case, you can get 3 pancakes for the rest of the month. Or if you are really hungry, you can just have it throughout the week or have it all in one sitting. But yeah, definitely a good bulk breakfast. Now moving into the scary part, we're going to do the granola. I know I said I was going to do the granola first, but I did chicken out and made the pancakes first, because at least I knew I'd made them before and I had success. Did I have success this time? No, but we're trying hard things, like I said. But moving into the granola, this also was like a very much one pot recipe. It came together super quickly. I will say I did this on my lunch break of work, and if you know anything about my work, I have a 30-minute lunch break, so I have to crunch my recipes into that time if I think I can. And this had such a one pot vibe to it that I was like, I think I actually might be able to squeeze this out, and I totally did. It was awesome. Now the thing is, I royally screwed this up. If you couldn't tell, I am not a sunflower eater. I've never once been a fan of the taste of sunflowers. I don't like the texture. I don't like how salty it is. I'm not a salty type of gal. I'm a sweet type of gal. If you can't tell already by my channel, I bake all the time. I like sweet things. So I'm always going to go for the sweet versus the savory option. And sunflower seeds have just never been my vibe. Like, I've known plenty of people in high school that brought around bags of sunflower seeds and were just like chomping on it during class, and it always kind of grossed me out. But I just never got into it. And so leave it to me to have a recipe that has sunflower seeds in it. And I'm thinking, this is great. I just have a bag of sunflower seeds. I'm just going to put it in the granola. Not once thinking that I actually needed to de-seed the sunflower seeds from the shell, and that it was a shell and not a seed. So as you saw, there was hundreds, if not multiple hundreds, of sunflower shells with the seed inside. So every single bite had upwards of 3 to 4 sunflower shells with seeds inside that I just instantly crunched on and could taste and had to spit out. So I will be trying this recipe again, part 2, but I will be deshelling all of the sunflower seeds, because I think, honestly, if that problem gets solved, this would be my go-to recipe. It was so good, honestly. It was like the right amount of sweetness, and it had a little bit of spice to it, and it was really, really good. So I think I'll definitely be doing that again. I just won't make the mistake of doing that. So yay for us trying hard things. And then here comes the fun stuff. My favorite recipe of all time, sourdough French toast. I mean, it can't get much easier than this. If you haven't made French toast before, I probably wouldn't recommend using my recipe because I just throw things into a bowl and see what sticks. But this is like the general gist of what I have always made French toast with. So it is just egg, sometimes 2 eggs if I'm feeling fancy, or if I think I have a lot more than I did. I had like 4 pieces of bread there, so it wasn't necessary. But if you're making a larger batch, I would do 2 eggs, some milk that you eyeball, and some cinnamon, my favorite thing. That's like one of my favorite go-to spices. But yeah, you just mix that all together, lather both sides, pop it on a pan. And if you noticed, I used a different pan this time because I was not going to make the same mistake twice. We are learning as we go. I hope you enjoyed these 3 quick and easy recipes that you can make with your sourdough discard or leftover loaves. It is one of my favorite ways to make sure that I am not creating any waste. And I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you on the next one.